Welcome back to Talking with Our Traders, a Caesar Sportsbook original series, the podcast that takes you inside the mind of the sportsbook with our very own Caesar Sportsbook traders. I'm your host, Cindi Edwards, and with me all season long, Craig Mucklow, Vice President of Trading here at Caesar Sportsbook.
Hello there.
And Joey Fiesel, Head of Football here at Caesars.
Hello.
How's it going, guys? Good?
It's going.
It's going?
Yeah. Getting a little chilly out, November.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Talking a little early this week here on a Wednesday.
Unfortunately.
All right, let's jump into college. Joey, Julian Sayin and Fernando Mendoza are leading the Heisman race. Which of these quarterbacks do you think will take it home in the end?
I think Julian Sayin will take it. And I think he's the value right now, right? Because what are these two teams going to play in? Big Ten title game. How big a favorite do you think that Ohio State's going to be? Are they going to be dogs? No. So I think at these two prices, if these two teams keep winning, which they likely will as we get down to the end of the season, it's going to come down to that Big Ten title game. In which if you have this head-to-head matchup, I'm taking the value with the plus 170, which it's not super value. I mean, it's plus 170. It's, that's Craig wouldn't even touch a plus
Craig
170 ever.
Scoffing.
No way, Jose. But I think, if we look at other outside of chances, I think Ty Simpson has that ability, especially with Bama having big games down the stretch. I know Craig also not a Bama fan.
Never has been, never will be.
If you're going to give me these two against each other, I'm taking Julian Sayin just because when we get to the Big Ten title game, Ohio State's going to be close to a touchdown favorite, so your value is going to be there. Has he been flashy throughout the year? Not necessarily, but it's very clear that Ohio State is the most dominant team right now.
Yeah.
Regardless of what Lane Kiffin says.
Craig?
I have to agree with Joey that December the 6th will be the deciding factor. If Mendoza can overcome the Ohio State defense, he wins the title. He certainly had his Heisman moment this weekend. Against a not very good Penn State team, but was that Mendoza's Heisman moment, or was that just a tremendous catch by the wide receiver?
Tremendous catch.
And so, Mendoza owes him dinner because he's still in the race.
Great point.
It comes down to who wins. And the problem is the Ohio State defense is so good that Sayin probably backdoors into the title.
Yeah. Okay, following up, great point, Craig. Is there any legitimacy to comparing the players these quarterbacks have when discussing the Heisman?
We saw this before, 2020, one of the best Heisman races of all time. I mean, you had going into that week was Mac Jones and Kyle Trask for Florida were kind of those two quarterback favorites. Mac Jones didn't have the greatest game. Kyle Trask blew it. I don't know if that was the shoe game or what happened, but they absolutely folded under pressure, and so Kyle Trask is out of it. So then it's Mac Jones. Devontae Smith had a wild game.
Yeah.
And he catapulted over Mac Jones. And it's kind of a similar scenario where people didn't think Mac Jones was that great. It was like, oh, it's really Bama as a team. So you could see that with Jeremiah Smith here. I'm not throwing that possibility out. We don't want to see that. It's one of our not great situations for Heisman in terms of betting wise, but I could see that happening, but it's only happened once that I can remember, and it was a very niche scenario. So I think with these two teams, it's going to be a more defensive game. Both these defenses are good, so I don't see Jeremiah Smith getting, he would have to get probably 4 or 5 touchdowns in order to kind of catapult.
Somebody has to throw those balls to him.
Yeah, exactly. Which it was Mac Jones that threw it to Devontae, but yeah. It's weird.
All right, moving on. Oregon escapes Iowa 18-16 on a last-second field goal on the road. Do we view the Ducks as a legit natty contender?
I believe in the coach.
Okay.
But they haven't shown us anything thus far that they're going to be able to be competitive with Ohio State or some of these SEC teams. So I don't see them. I mean, if we look last year, right, Ohio State lost to Michigan, and then all of a sudden they just flipped the switch and they were unbeatable. So they have that ability, and I think they do have that ability because of how much the respect I have for Dan Lanning. Mm-hmm. But right now, doesn't look like they're going to be that competitive.
It goes back to what I said last week, where sometimes you need to lose a game to refocus. And Ohio State got beat by their biggest rival at the end of last year and then turned it on. the entire Big Ten is legit, except for Penn State. None of the SEC teams will want to meet a Big Ten team in the playoffs. Iowa are a tough out anyway, especially on the road, in that weather as well. Oregon remain legit.
All right. Alabama held off LSU 20-9, only let them get a couple of field goals. Is Bama quietly the most complete team in the SEC? And do you trust them to make a run in the college football playoffs? Craig is rolling his eyes already. So, Joey, why don't you start us off?
I have respect for this Alabama team, and I know I'm opposite of Craig, which is usually not the side you want to be on against Craig. But I think that they, while not super flashy on offense, have pieces on both sides of the ball. I mean, look at this game this past weekend. It wasn't a flashy win, 20-9, but they didn't allow any touchdowns for LSU.
Right.
Which I think has in the SEC, not allowing a touchdown. Like that's something impressive, and that's something you should take to the bank. So I do believe in this Alabama team. I still think that I don't think they're blowing anybody out of the water in the playoff, but I think they're going to be just in games where fourth quarter is going to matter, and I think they're going to be able to push forward and get the win in the fourth quarter. So I do like Bama and Ohio State's my national championship. At least we're picking it today.
All right. Craig?
I can't wait for the playoffs to start because then I can get to see Alabama get blown out by a proper team. LSU had their chances. They completely hurt themselves. They brought in the backup quarterback, full starts, bad penalties. Just they competed. You knew they would compete. I thought they would cover the spread, which they didn't. But LSU certainly hurt themselves. Would Alabama still have won the game? Probably. But then look before. South Carolina absolutely should have beat Bama. Missouri had chances against Bama as well. But is it Alabama winning games in the fourth quarter? Is it your opponent not closing out the game in the fourth quarter? And I think it's the latter, in my professional opinion. And we'll get to see this weekend when they actually play a good team.
All right. Okay. Well, let's talk about the chaos in the ACC. Wake Forest stunned Virginia. Cal upset Louisville. And who, in your opinion, guys, will represent the ACC in the college football playoff?
It's going to be Georgia Tech, likely. I think that they have a very complete team. They have a very stout defense. Haynes King, I'm not the biggest fan of. He's like a running back that plays quarterback. But I think, it's going to be one ACC team going to represent. I think it's going to be Georgia Tech that's going to probably get it done.
Do you agree, Craig?
My very first line here is not Georgia Tech. Of course, Joey takes the favorite.
It makes sense.
I mean, maybe Joey just can't read down odds boards or something. You can only see the one at the top.
I can only see the one.
Can I see them winning both their last games versus Pitt and Georgia? No. I don't think it'll be Pittsburgh at plus 675. They've got 3 ranked teams to close out their season. So by process of elimination, I ended up on 2 outsiders because I can't take a favorite ever. SMU at 5s, Virginia at 8s, maybe Miami with a ton of help. But I can't take plus 160, no way. And this will be one and done. Whoever gets in, then none of them will.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We already know how that's going to
Unless they get Alabama, of course.
All right. Earlier this week, Lane Kiffin made a compelling case for why Texas A&M should be ranked number 1 overall. Do you agree with him?
No, not in the slightest. He had his big press conference, and he's like, why don't you ask Vegas? Ask Vegas what that line would be. Well, here I am, Lane Kiffin. I would have Ohio State minimum a 7-point favorite against A&M if they were to play on a neutral site. So there's your answer, Joey Freshwater. No, it's Ohio State is clearly the best team in the country right now on both sides of the ball. And while I think A&M is impressive and they expected to be where they're at, this is just him kind of playing that SEC is dominant, because this is a down year for the SEC. It does feel like a down year for the SEC. So that's him just trying to make a case for the SEC so that somehow helps him down the line, right?
Well, he asked Vegas, and Vegas answered.
Exactly, yeah. Kiff the season where everyone is pitching their cases, as we've seen on the training floor the last week. You get to the end of the year and people start paying attention to performance and things like that. So, yeah, he's pitching a case that he's not going to win because Ohio State are far better than Texas A&M.
All right, I like it. Texas Tech did dominate BYU. Are people sleeping on them?
I don't think people are sleeping on them. They've been one of the biggest bet teams all year long.
Yes.
Even if we look at the offseason,
Okay.
in national championship turns and winning the Big 12, Texas Tech did what every coach, every program wants to do right now. They went to the portal and they paid big money for good players, and it's paying dividends. Where they look like they are going to be competitive in the Big 12, like we can probably win the Big 12. I don't see anybody really wanting to step up to the plate and stand in their way. So I don't think they're sleeping on them. I think they are going to get exposed by an SEC team or a Big 10 team when we get to the playoff time, because although you have all the pieces, so does the other teams, and I don't think they're as well coached to be able to win in those really big games against a big school.
About a month ago, we made a trader do some analysis on which sport you can buy a title in, because he didn't believe that you could buy a title in baseball. Well, as the Dodgers the last 2 years.
Interesting.
And he did a study where he showed cost per win for teams. College football is becoming that similar sport where you can buy a title because you can pay for the players.
Yeah.
And Texas Tech went out, spent the money, got the players, and report you reward. Sleeping on them? No, Joe is perfectly correct. BYU were everybody's darling, but everybody's waited for the wheels to fall off on BYU. And outside of that, they've only played Utah of any substance. So jury's still out, but like everybody likes Texas Tech, as we can see on our futures book.
All right. Well, guys, how many SEC teams will end up in the college football playoff?
Likely 3, A&M, Bama, and then probably winner Georgia, Texas this week.
Didn't they just have 6 in the playoff thing yesterday when it was announced?
Did they have 6 in there?
It was 5 or 6. I did quickly look. But this just shows a mockery of this college football playoff announcement, because Bama play Oklahoma, losers out. Texas play Georgia, losers probably out. So I had 4: Georgia, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Oklahoma.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, let's get into some game previews, starting with number 11, Oklahoma, and number 4, Alabama, squaring off on Saturday in Tuscaloosa. This is a rematch of last year's matchup where Oklahoma did upset Alabama and kept them out of the playoff field last season. Despite that game, Alabama is a 6-point favorite. Line sits Alabama -6, total 46. Craig, you mentioned it earlier. This is an elimination game.
Yeah, it is. I think it's elimination weekend for the SEC. I mean, that's how they should put it on the TV and advertise it. As you said, Oklahoma knocked them out 24-3 last year, knocked them out the playoff contention. I expect another low-scoring battle this year. Alabama 18th overall in defense. Oklahoma is 7th. Saw last week, you've got to score touchdowns to beat Alabama. Field goals are not going to cut it, and Oklahoma can score touchdowns. So we shall see. And Mateer's looking healthier.
Do you like Oklahoma here?
Yes,
Ooh.
a lot.
I don't hate that play, because I do think this is going to be a defensive showdown, which that's right up Craig's
defensive
alley.
game, take the points.
Take the points always.
Yeah.
And one thing that really, if we're going to look at the weakness of Alabama, according to Craig, it's everything. But I think their weakness is the run game, in which Oklahoma can take advantage of. So I do like Oklahoma in this spot here to kind of stick in the number. I do think Bama kind of gets it done, because I just think that they're a more complete team. And Mateer, the jury's out. I think ever since the hand surgery, I think it's still affecting him.
Yeah.
And they're going to need to score points in order to win this game. Surprise. I mean, you need to score points to win the game. But I do like it. This be a really low scoring game, way under the total. And I think Alabama barely gets done by maybe 3.
Like that. Okay, moving on. We have a top 10 matchup between number 10 Texas, number 5 Georgia. After dropping both games to the Bulldogs last season, Texas obviously looks to upset here on the road. Georgia currently -6, total 48.5. Joey, break it down for us.
This is a Georgia defense that's left a lot to be desired, and this might be Arch Manning's come-out game because he can exploit that weakness of the Georgia team, which is their passing defense. So I'm leaning over in this one. I think this is kind of Texas's ride or die. This is, they had so much hype going into this year, and this is their opportunity to kind of sneak into that playoff. So I like Texas as a straight underdog in this one to get it done. I think Georgia's just a little bit overrated here. They've been exposed on the defense side of the ball, and I think that same thing is going to end up here where Texas, their strong side is usually their defense. So I like Texas in this spot.
Craig?
You're feeling all right. Took a dog.
Yeah.
Texas have not been great against ranked opponents. Oklahoma was a good win, but clearly against a Matia injury, and he came back too soon. They scraped by Vandy. They didn't score until late in the fourth quarter against Ohio State. They got Georgia and they got Texas A&M in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, big stretch here.
Yeah, it's a big stretch. For all the fanfare of Texas, they're 72nd in the FBS on offense, and that's with their soft schedule. I mean, they played Sam Houston, UTEP, and all the other schools that I still wouldn't get on the team for. Georgia chinned them twice last year. I can't see a turnaround here either. Georgia's just too well coached.
All right. Arch Manning has been playing his best football of the season in the last few weeks. Do we think he might show out here?
Well, if you're going to do it, you do it on the primetime game.
Yeah.
And you do it against – your season's on the line. You cannot lose one more of these games. And he's going to get 2 more. And Texas A&M's going to be a tough out because that's a rivalry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he does. I think this is where he can expose Georgia. Do I think it's because Arch Manning's the greatest quarterback of all time? No. But I think the weakness of this Georgia team – Arch Manning's going to be able to expose that, and then maybe he'll look like a hero.
All right. Let's get into our weekly picks. Favorite college football game to go over?
That would be the free money every week, which is South Florida over 64.5. Don't even think about it. Just bet it.
I got all of these right last week for some strange reason. Pure luck, obviously.
Don't sell yourself short.
I never do. So speaking of short and speaking of an over, let's go over 71.5. UNLV and Utah State.
Oh boy, that's a big number. But
that is huge.
There's not gonna be a lot of defense probably in that.
All
game.
right, I like
There
it.
is zero defense.
Defense not found. All right. Favorite college football game to go under?
I like the Oklahoma, Alabama game.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be just a great defensive matchup. They're gonna run the ball under 45.5.
I do like that, but that would involve me having to use my brain to find that one, which is not going to happen. So we'll stick to the old process. Ball State under 50.5.
All right. Favorite college football team to cover the spread?
I like Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. I knew he was going to say that.
Yep. I do like Oklahoma, but the math tells me Northwestern plus 12.5 against Michigan.
Yep.
Okay. Upset of the week in the college football sphere.
Give me Texas to beat Georgia.
Ooh.
Utah State plus 193 over UNLV. I just don't think UNLV's that good.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Any weather to be aware of, Craig?
Yeah, you know how cold it is outside here in Vegas.
It's freezing.
And it's going to rain all week. Well, guess what? There's plenty of weather. It's really cold all across the eastern board. As we saw Monday night with the Packers and Eagles, cold impacts offense big time. So just be mindful of that. I'm not going to list every single game where it's like 0 degrees because there's a lot. There's a lot of wind in Ball State throughout the full game. And first half, Illinois will be windy, like 24, 25 miles an hour wind.
Gotcha. All right. Well, moving on to NFL. We are in NFL Week 11, but let's talk about some things that happened last week in Week 10. After that loss to the Dolphins, how worried should we be about the Bills' chances to win a Super Bowl?
Should be worried every week. I mean, every year for the Bills because they just seem to blow it in clutch times. But no, I think there's been Buffalo's been the winner of the schedule race, right? Same
Yeah.
thing with the Patriots. Most of the AFC East, where they've really haven't been challenged and they have a decent record, but it's against bad teams. So I think the big what's hurting Buffalo right now is their run defense, just not able to effectively stop the run, and really lacking that explosiveness on the offensive side. So yeah, if you're a Buffalo fan, you should be concerned because the Dolphins shouldn't have been in that game, and it wasn't even close. There was times where us in the trading floor were just waiting for the Dolphins to blow it because that's just what they always do.
Right.
And they didn't. As soon as I think it was Josh Allen, he started driving down the field and he wanted to do what he always does, get an extra 5 or whatever yards. Ball comes out.
Right.
So they wanted him to blow the dead, but on the other times he doesn't. So yeah, I'd be very concerned if you're a Buffalo Bills fan because you're really just being propped up by the bad schedule that you've had.
It's nice being able to cheer my team on for once on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Am I worried about the Bills? Not really, because I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl anyway. Just don't. I remember watching them go to 4 straight Super Bowls in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah, losing everyone.
And lost every one of them. They lost 2 divisional games. They lost to the Dolphins, who always play the Bills tough. The Dolphins should have beat them on the Thursday night game. Tua threw all those picks, and they still had the ball last. They lost to a Patriots team who we've obviously undervalued somewhat.
Yeah.
And the only real bad loss, I think, was against the Falcons on the Monday night. They just didn't play well at all. The schedule gets easy now, but you've got the Pats. They've still got the Pats to play week 15. I think the division is probably beyond the Bills now, looking at the Pats schedule. And then guess what? The Bills will have to go to Kansas City or Baltimore in January.
Funny how that works.
You won't. If I'm a Patriots fan, the last thing I would want to see is Buffalo in the first round.
Yeah.
Especially if you beat them twice.
Yeah, that's tough odds.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of the Patriots are now at an NFL best 8-2 on the season. Drake May is currently second in odds for MVP. Mike Vrabel is the favorite for Coach of the Year, and the Patriots are now minus money to win the AFC East. Is this evil empire back?
No. They're impressive. I won't give them that, but are we trying to say that this is the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick era? Like, let's get real here. I mean, it is exciting, though, because I do like Mike Vrabel as a coach. I've always had a soft spot. I think he's that player's coach. He's almost was Dan Campbell before Dan Campbell.
Yeah, exactly.
Really focused. And look, Drake May, I'd love to see him get there, but we all know he's not going to get there. But yeah, it's a little early to say the evil. I mean, we're talking about a dynasty, crazy Patriots team, and you're going to compare this team to that? That's crazy. As a Patriots fan, you should be offended that this question was even on there.
I mean, I didn't write this question, so you think I would refer to them as the evil empire?
That's true.
It's not how I refer to them.
Absolutely not.
You tell me.
It is pretty crazy, though. Who would have thought all 3 of those things would happen at the beginning of this season?
Well, it's what happens when you get the best record.
Yeah.
Look, let's be real.
Yeah.
They've beat 2 teams with a winning record.
How many times can we say that about every team in the NFL, though? Like
every week.
Yeah.
They lost to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Do you want the Patriots to call the NFL and ask them for a tougher schedule?
I think they should.
Is that what they should do?
Get
And the
Goodell
Bills
on the
should do
phone.
that. And every other team that we've
Get
said
Goodell on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not their fault. Every team in the NFL sucks.
No, come on. As we saw with the dynasty, the Patriots had the referee's phone number every single week, made sure he's put up in a nice suite and looked after. I love Vrabel as a coach. I always have done. They've got plenty of cap space to build on over the next year or 2. But they get the Bills and the Ravens back to back in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
So before we crown them as back, let's see how they come out of those 2 games. Because the Bills will be up for it, and the Ravens the Ravens are playing for their absolute lives. So
I'd be
if
more
they win
scared of
both,
the Ravens.
So would I. If they win both, then you probably you can pay out Vrabel Coach of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
It depends how May performs in those games.
I mean, who's Vrabel's competition here?
The Coach of the Year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Steichen for the Colts.
Yeah.
Yep. See, yeah, I don't know about that. Okay.
And what about McVay?
You get back McVay?
Yeah. I like Joey.
It's
All
hard when
right.
you're already a good coach to kind of break through it.
Okay, we have a new favorite for MVP, Matthew Stafford, currently sitting at plus 275. Has the 37-year-old been putting together the most low-key MVP season in recent memory?
I think so. I mean, it's kind of a weird year for quarterbacks because no one's really like
Yeah.
every week. It's like who's blowing the MVP race. I know, it's been a wild time, but I think what adds to Matthew Stafford is we go back to the preseason. There was questions about Matthew Stafford and his back. His back is broken. He's not going to play well. And for him to kind of come out of that adversity and kind of put up the numbers that he is, I think it is impressive, and it kind of also adds that narrative that because you want it. If you're going for an award, you want that narrative going in. I think the MVP is less so than the Heisman, but it still will matter. And this week is going to matter a lot because they're playing the Seahawks, which these are two of the kind of outside looking in NFC teams to kind of take over the NFC. So
For sure.
if it's a blowout, if somehow the Rams are able to blow out, yeah, he's going to get a big bump in his MVP odds.
Yeah, not bad for someone who was supposed to have back surgery at the start of the year.
No.
Yeah, amazing recovery, that.
Those shots must be helping.
Yeah. Tequila works wonders, apparently. The Rams should be undefeated. They had the Eagles dead to rights and blew that game. They gifted the 49ers on the Thursday night a win when literally fumbled at the goal line, went for it on fourth down in overtime, try and win the game. I mean, the whole world aligned for the 49ers on that game. They were one of my preseason picks for the Super Bowl, so no surprise. But yeah, I mean, what a season he's having. But this is a huge game this weekend. What a game.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, speaking of MVP and the just average kind of quarterback play, no superstar really, is it as simple as the position for why Jonathan Taylor won't win MVP?
It's very difficult, and it seems unfair. I mean, they might as well just make it the best quarterback award at this point.
Yeah.
But no, he certainly makes a case for that. Again, we talked about is that there's a lot of other pieces that kind of goes along with that, with the offensive line and being able to stick it through. But, I think it just takes every quarterback being bad at the same time in order for Jonathan Taylor to get there. Jonathan Taylor could get hurt. We're not seem prone to running backs getting hurt more often than quarterbacks too. So yeah, it's kind of stacked against him. It is unfair, but it's just you're just facing against hoping that the guy that touches the ball the most in clutch scenarios isn't going to perform, and that's just hard to do. So I think it is really position based of why it's kind of that blocker for him.
Do I hope he breaks the rushing record? Yes, because I think he's a great running back. I love him. Is it because he's a running back it hurts? Yes. My fear is because he's having such a great season, they're going to use him and use him and use him and use him. Mm-hmm. And that takes wear and tear on the body. And I've said it multiple times in these. When you overuse a running back, the hits are just unbelievable because even when he's not carrying the ball, he's blocking for a pass. So just consistently getting hit. I just hope he doesn't get injured because he's having a hell of a year.
Got it. Mm-hmm. All right, following up, can we talk about where the current MVP favorites started this season, odds-wise? Because I don't think any of us thought Stafford, May, and Taylor would be the top three here.
I got all the big bets. Do you want to hear them?
Yeah.
Because that'll give you an indication. We laid $500 at 50 to 1 on Matt Stafford in May. Genius, whoever bet that. Some homer bet $300 on Drake May at 40 to 1 in June. Somebody bet $400 on Jonathan Taylor at 150 to 1 in September and another 460 in October. Somebody had 4,000 on Mahomes at 850 plus 850. $1,000 on Josh Allen plus 625 and $800 on Sam Darnold at 80 to 1.
Wow.
Those are some great bets.
Yeah.
It's a portfolio if ever.
It's a portfolio. None of them are Craig Mucklows.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to them.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Who are the top 5 teams currently in each of your power rankings?
Chiefs, Lions, Ravens, Rams, Seahawks. That's what I got. My top 5.
Interesting.
He's wrong. Rams,
Yep.
Lions, Chiefs, Seahawks, Eagles. And if you're wondering where my Ravens are, 6.
Okay. Yeah. I'm surprised that you don't have the Ravens in there. You need to see one more week.
You asked me about my rankings, not my bias.
Okay.
If it was my bias, it'd be the Ravens 1, Ravens 2, Rams.
Yeah, Joey would have Chiefs
Packers.
at 32.
Yeah.
that would be.
Okay.
Oh, the Pats are the 32nd on my.
Yeah,
ranking.
wait.
There you go.
Pat's not in neither of your top 5 power rankings.
They aren't.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, here's a fun one. Should Matt LaFleur be fired?
No. I mean, what do we, there's plenty of coaches need to be fired. Mike McDaniel's still on the roster. Maybe he should be fired.
He certainly should be
He
fired.
certainly should be fired. So, no, I mean, there is a lot to be desired on the offensive side of the ball, and we see it even this Monday night. It's just they're not able, they have a great defense. And LaFleur is that offensive guy, right? He's the one calling the plays. They don't open up the playbook. They're just a vanilla offense. Should he be fired? No. I mean, you have a successful team, and if we get to playoff time, I don't think anybody sees the Packers and oh, we're gonna get this. It's not like they're the Patriots, it's gonna be the easy one. Sorry,
Yeah.
just a little shot there.
Yikes.
So no, I don't think he should be fired. I think maybe he's just holding on to this playbook, and he's gonna open up. He's gonna pull an Ohio State where they're just gonna be actually explosive in the playoffs. Because they're going to get there. I think there's just too much talent on both sides of this of the ball of this team. But no, he shouldn't be fired.
You don't get fired for losing to a top 5 team in the NFL and the reigning Super Bowl champions on a Monday night in terrible weather, and you only gave up 10 points.
What about the week before? Do you get fired for that?
I can't remember what they did the week before. Well, it wasn't good, wherever it was.
Yeah, no, it wasn't good.
Certainly wasn't good.
But no, they had this was almost my concern with the Packers, and this is why they were 25-1. They had one of the hardest schedules, but the problem was they got all the tough games at home. They just need to stop playing down to their opposition. So their losses, outside of the Eagles, their losses have all been bad losses to bad teams because they feel like they can just turn it on at any time. You can't do that against quality teams. Even if it's the Cleveland Browns, they're still going to try and compete for 4 quarters.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some game previews, starting with Bills versus Bucks, what some people are calling the Rebound Bowl because both of these teams need one. Both are 6-3 on the season and coming off rough losses. Bills -5.5, totals 48. Who has the upper hand here?
I think the Bills have the upper hand, and I think it's really solely on Florida team traveling to a nice cold Buffalo. And I think that's going to make the biggest impact in this game where the Buccaneers, they want to pass the ball, right? They have so many wide receivers. They already had a stacked wide receiver and room, and then they go out and get Igbuka. They want to pass the ball. They want to pass it effectively. This game ain't it. It's not going to help them here. So I favor the Bills here. While I do think they have some problems, I do think that they'll have the ability to run the ball effectively in this game and just get it done and cover that 5.5.
Oddly, teams coming off a loss since 2020, the Bills are up there as a 13-9-2 against the spread, and the Bucks are right behind them at 20-14-1 off a loss against the spread. The big difference here is the weather. Tampa's not going to like the weather. It's going to be cold, windy, and wet.
Yeah.
Home field in Buffalo, backs against the wall. The Bills are still a class team, regardless of how much I dog on them because they're in the AFC East. And even more so when the Jets beat the Pats on Thursday night. The Bills have got an opening to the division again.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Seahawks versus Rams. This is one of the marquee matchups of Week 11. Two of the hottest teams in the league right now. Rams currently -3, 48.5 has the total. Does this winner of this game win the NFC West?
I don't think so. It's too early to tell because this is game 1 of 2, right? And it's hard to beat the same team twice. I think if anything, the kind of value side is going to be the Seahawks just because Rams already blew it once to the Niners, and that might come back and hurt them. Because I think these are two of the really top teams in the league right now. And I love to see it. I think that this is. I feel more confident about this Rams team than I did when they won the Super Bowl. I just think that the add of Devontae Adams, and
Yeah.
Puka, running back, the young defense, they're a strong team. But the Seahawks are just dominant on both sides of the ball. Like even last week, I've never seen a guy more allergic to wanting to win the MVP than Sam Darnold. I mean, I was watching Red Zone, and then it looked like it was just deja vu. Like they had 2 turnovers, whatever, inside the 20. It's just crazy, and they were still. It wasn't even a close game. It wasn't even close at all. So I do favor the Rams slightly in this one, but Seattle was really good on the road, and this is going to be one where. Is this home field advantage for the Rams? No. Seattle's going to travel. There's going to be a lot more Seahawks fans in the building, unfortunately, because there's not a lot of LA sports fans that are going to show up for the Rams. But it's going to be a good one. And I'm surprised this one's at the 105 time slot. You'd think this would be in that 125 slot.
So, well, yeah. And for anyone wondering why the heck this isn't being flexed to a primetime game, it's just not in the primetime or the window to be allowed to be flexed.
And the Sunday Night Football is probably good. I wouldn't flex this Sunday.
Well,
Yeah, you're
Sunday
not
Night
flexing
Football
that one
is
out.
the only good one, but I mean, Dallas Cowboys, Raiders, Monday night, absolutely not.
They should flex that
Thursday
game to
night,
Europe.
Jets, Pats. Yeah. So Sunday Night Football is the only one that technically would be allowed, but you do have a 21-day notice for
Didn't
that.
know that.
The other two don't open until next week.
Got you. If it's the Rams winning the game, I think, yes, they win the division, only because of their schedule. However, as Joey said, they do meet again on December 18th. Interestingly, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th in Super Bowl betting all play each other this weekend. So there'll be a lot of movement. We thought there was some carnage this weekend when you priced up the futures. There'll be more carnage this week, unless they're all tied. I like the Rams here slightly. I'd make them 3.5 on the spread and 49 total. Seattle has a losing record against the division against the spread since 2020. The Rams are the best at 21-14. The better team gets it done, but Seattle play better on the road than they do at home under the new coach.
They do.
They have done. And like Joey said, it'll be a road game. As you saw with the Steelers on Sunday night, there was more Steelers fans in that building.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because that is one beautiful stadium.
I still have yet to be.
Well, get out there. All right. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, Eagles, Lions. This game could end up being an NFC Championship game preview or at least a playoff game of some sort. Line is Eagles -2.5 and total is 46.5. Who has the edge here, Eagles or Lions, in your opinion?
I favor the Eagles slightly, just because I think they're turning it on. And even if we see this last game with the Packers, they were able to move the ball against a very good Packers defense. So I favor them slightly. I think their defense is good. I'm almost getting sick and tired of the tush push. It's with the offsides. I'm sick of. I was the biggest proponent of like, oh yeah, keep it. Now it's like just getting out of hand. But this is the NFC Championship that we all wanted to see last year, right? And then the Commanders upset the Lions, which Greg called. So yeah, this is going to be a good game. This could be the NFC title preview. And we're hoping for a lower scoring game. But I don't know if we're going to get there. There's been a couple times where we're able to get it in this spot, but this spot where it's just the Lions, like they just can get the ball down the field, and Dan Campbell doesn't care. He's going to go for it on 4th down. He's going to take some chances, especially in this one.
Right.
So totals come down a little bit, but I still think probably this game might go over.
No real massive opinion on this game. I make the spread and the total exactly what it is. The only reason I would favour the Lions is because of the 1 extra day's rest, the easier game. That, the cold, and the injuries. I saw Lane Johnson walking off. I don't know if he's going to play this week, but that takes a toll on the body, especially on a short week. And it doesn't get any easier for the Eagles because the Lions are a tough out. At least they get them at home. The Lions' offense is far superior to what the Eagles went up against on Monday night. I think it's the Lions. I lean that way. But Philly's a good team.
Yeah.
I'm glad we get a good matchup.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Either way.
The NFL absolutely nailed the last few weeks on the scheduling.
Yeah. All right, let's get into our game picks of the week. What is your favorite NFL game to go over?
I like the Rams-Seahawks game to go over. No weather concerns at all. It's in LA. I think both of these offenses are going to outmatch the opposing defenses, so over 48.5 on that one.
I like
just
it.
love that canopy because it'd be raining in LA all day.
Yeah.
Bengals Steelers over 49.
I also like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bengals don't play good defense.
Bengals
Do they
don't
have a
play
Give it to
defense.
the Steelers alone. Yeah. Favorite NFL game to go under?
Bucks Bills. Think they're going to run the ball heavily in that one. Can be gross weather. Baker's afraid of the cold. Under 48.5.
Yeah, I almost took that one, but I got a better one. Ravens Browns under 39.5. If you're going to go under, let's find the lowest total on the board.
Yeah.
Not afraid.
Certainly not. Favorite NFL team to cover the spread?
I like the Rams to cover the 3. I'm going to pull the trigger.
Okay.
Browns +8.
Yeah, I like that as well. Are you reading my
Your
screen
mind.
over here?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, some sense of knowledge. 8-point dogs are 7-1 against the spread. The Lions is the only one that won last week, which we all knew would win by $2 billion. 2 of the 8 have won straight up, and 2 of the others absolutely should have won straight up. The Cowboys should have beat the Eagles, and I'm trying to think if they won. I can't remember. Dolphins over Bills. But yeah.
All right. NFL upset of the week.
I think the Broncos can get it done against the Chiefs. I think all week they're being told how they're not good and Bo Nix is not a good quarterback. This is going to be a defensive first game. So I think Broncos can get it done against the Chiefs.
Even off the bye?
Even off the bye.
All right. Craig?
The Chiefs are not actually that great in recent years off the bye.
Really?
Oh yeah, you got to dig back a few years to start seeing that run. Like if you against the spread anyway, straight up is one thing, but you're a favorite, so it makes no difference.
Right.
I'm gonna hate myself for saying this. The Cleveland Browns are +360.
What?
Yeah. Bad weather, low total, grind. You know, it's going to be one of those ugly games in bad weather, and why not take the big dog?
I'll be cheering Sunday afternoon if that gets coming in.
Yeah.
You will be hearing from me all day Sunday if I get this one right.
Oh,
Any
I'll be
weather
unbearable.
to be aware of?
Guess what? Wet and windy in Buffalo, very windy in Cleveland.
Okay. Let's get into our anytime touchdown parlay. 1 pick per person. This is the Talking with the Traders podcast quick pick. You can trail this on the Caesar Sportsbook app. Guys, start us off. Who wants to start? Joey?
Craig started.
Craig?
Started off this week.
All right.
Amazingly, we are still 10 units in profit because we hit that 18-1 shot at the start of the year. So, and then since then gone south. Tight ends went for 11 catches, 141 yards, 4 touchdowns in the Bengals versus the Bengals for the Steelers in the last game. So I'm going to go Pat Freiermuth at +235.
All right. I like it. I am going with the hot hand. Give me Drake London.
Drake London. I'm going to go for the newest Seattle Seahawk,
Ooh.
Rashid Shaheed.
Shaheed. Yeah, Rashid Shaheed.
+275.
All right, I like it. Let's get into our picks. 1 college, 1 NFL. Who wants to start us off?
Well, you're still in front.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go for
Go
it.
for it.
All right. I am taking Texas A&M under 48.5. And I'm taking Bengals Steelers over 49.
Yeah, easy. You can cash that one now.
All right.
Shall we?
I'm going to go Texas +6 against Georgia. And then for NFL, I'm going to go, I hate to say it, over on the Monday night game with the Cowboys, over 50.
Ooh. Okay.
No surprise here. I'm sticking with the weather. First half under Illinois, 27.5. And the Ravens Browns under 39.5, even though I know for a fact, and I have the receipt, it was 40.5 last night.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, That's a wrap for this week's episode. If you don't already, please subscribe to Talking with Our Traders wherever you listen to your podcasts and follow at Caesar Sports on Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube. Guys, any final words to lead the viewers into the weekend?
So, given we are filming this on Wednesday, for
Yes.
a change, double check my weather come game day because we've seen all this
Yeah, it
change,
changes.
and
That's true.
we're 4 or 5 days out, so a lot can change.
We don't want to hear anyone complaining that Craig led you astray.
Yeah.
All right. Joey, anything to add?
No, we're in the fun time with November. We got all college hoops is starting to go. So yeah, enjoy every weekend because this is the best sports month of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's crazy now on the trading floor.
Absolutely. All right. Bye.
Right.